Well, I don't think it's worth the risk. As transport the back on his offer showed us in the first.
So I go with Gideon Mensah just to supplement the effort of Mohamed Salah.
For me, I've desisted from predicting my starting 11.
I don't remember that. Even against Nigeria, he had lapses of concentration when we played Ababaya.
Welcome to OSIKANI TV on YouTube once again. Yes, today I have with me Mr. Selassie Fiawe of Sarah Football. I know you have subscribed to his channel already. Yes. If you've not subscribed, hurry up, go to Sarah Football and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you put on the post notification so that anytime we drop a video, you also not miss it. Now, today is Ghana versus Egypt, day 2 for Ghana in this AFCON 2023 happening in Ivory Coast, and we are here to talk on this particular game. Now, yesterday after the last training session for the Black Stars team, what are your expectations?
I expect them to go all out, kill themselves, put their lives on the line, literally if they have to, because it's a do or die affair. As Jordan and you said, we are not here to just add up to the numbers or to have fun in Abidjan. We are here to participate. We want to see that fighting spirit in that press conference that he showed. We want to see that aggressiveness when he was asked if they will be tagged as failures should they fail to make it out of the group this AFCON again. We know what happened in Cameroon versus Comoros. It is exactly 2 years today. I remember it was 18th January. I remember I had just come out of the media room after the game versus Comoros, and I was just weak. There's no other word for that. I was so weak to the bones. Comoros had just beaten us and knocked us out of the African Cup of Nations. We do not want a repeat of that. Funny enough, we are playing at that same exact time. Let's rewrite the history there and get the win versus Egypt. Yes, Egypt are dangerous. Yes, they have a good team. But Mozambique, if they've shown us anything, is that they are beatable. If not for that penalty in the dying embers of the game, Mozambique would have gotten a win versus Egypt. We should and can get a win versus Egypt. I believe that we can do that. We need to believe first and foremost if we want to get all the 3 points. The belief is most important heading into this game here versus Egypt.
Okay. All right. Yes. So looking at the game, I know that most of us are really down going into this game. But we only hope that this team will actually bounce back and get us the win. As a Ghanaian and being in Ivory Coast here, we've heard a lot of things going on around the team. Do you think that the players, they are really ready per what Jonah you said and what we've seen? Have you seen any readiness on the faces of the players yesterday on the training grounds?
We'll know for sure today on the pitch. You can see things going on in the training ground. They can be serious on the training ground, but sometimes when they get on the pitch, it's another story. I don't want to use the training session to judge the players' readiness.
Okay.
I want to use 8 p.m. kickoff to judge their readiness for this must-win game. It's non-negotiable. Egypt themselves also know that they need to win this game. They drew their first game, not so bad.
Okay.
They can draw, or they can win and go through to the next round. They also want to do that, and we also want to go there. They were finalists in Cameroon, and they would want to go one further and win it. We don't care about that. That's their problem. We have our problem of our own, and we need to get over the line in this one here. And we can do that. Belief, fighting spirit, and a good selection from the coach, most importantly. I have to say those are the 3 factors that will get us the 3 points.
All right, today. Before coming to the good selection, as you actually mentioned, let's look at the threats that the Egyptian team also poses. We know of Mohamed Salah, Mohamed Elneny, Trezeguet, all the other fantastic guys in there. Where do you think we should really tighten up going into the game against Egypt on our team?
It will be a mistake to just target one person. Obviously, every player is competent enough, is dangerous enough. Focusing on one player per se might not be the solution, but obviously there are threats, and the main threat is Mohamed Salah. Yes, there's no doubt about it. Maybe if you stifle him a bit, it will affect the whole Egyptian team in a way, but it will be dangerous to focus all our energies on one player in Salah. Yes, sure. I know the coach has a strategy for him heading into this game, but if the strategy is to just focus on Salah. It might free up other players like Trezeguet. It might free other players who probably we did not tout as a threat, and they could cause us more damage. It should be a strategy that focuses on the entire Egyptian attack, midfield, and defense. Stifle the whole team and prevent them from getting over the line with us. So it has to be an all-round strategy that will look to do that. But obviously, Salah is a threat, Trezeguet is a threat. Those guys are all going to worry us. But we need to do our homework, and we can get over the line. We can get over the line. It's the hope that kills, but hope is free. I'd rather choose hope than to be in despair. Yeah.
All right. Now talking about the lineup, I know Coach Chris Hughton will definitely surprise us. You know, I don't remember when he actually played the same starting 11 in two
like he doesn't have
games.
a starting 11.
I don't know. Maybe it might be due to a whole lot of issues, injuries, and other stuff. But which players do you expect them to start today for the Ghana Black Stars against?
Well, I've spoken about my possible starting 11 already, but I'll also emphasize that if Kudus Mohammed is not 100%, he should not be risked.
Okay.
That is one thing I've been advocating for. Kudus Mohammed should not be risked if he's not 100%. This is a similar story to what we had in Cameroon. Just that he did not even fly out to the country, so we did not even see him. But it's a similar situation here. He's only had, I think, 2 or 3 days of full training with the entire team. It's probably not enough. But if he's okay, 100% start him at least in the first half or coming in the second half. He needs to play a part if he can do it. Aside that, I think the usual suspect. I don't trust Richard Ofori. I think Atisiki will be much more suited in that starting 11. Yes, Richard Ofori got us 2 important late saves, but then 2 blunders from him made us concede 2 goals. Ghana was able to get just 1 shot on target in the entire 90 minutes versus Cape Verde. It tells you all you need to know about our attacking impetus. It is as blunt as you can imagine. So that one is a problem that Chris has to look at. How do we get the moves from the attack? And one thing also is that Chris has to know that this game is really, we have nothing to lose. He has to release the players. I know he doesn't want to open things up and allow things to go, but the best way to defend is to attack. That's how you have to look at it. And if you're always attacking them with the ball, yes, you attack with sense and you know how to cover your tracks when you're attacking. But Chris holds the team back. He doesn't allow players who are so good for their club side to express themselves freely as they do for their club side. They need to be allowed to express themselves freely for their club side to get the best out of them. Honestly, if that is not done, they will be found wanting. Yes, I know he wants to be in control, hold things, all that. But this game, if you lose, you are out of the African Cup of Nations, and that is one reason why you should go all out together with. Release the players. Free them first. Free them.
So goalkeeper Atisigi, right back?
Right back, I would go for Ali Hussein.
Are you going with a 3-back or you go with
no 4-back? I don't trust that 3-back system because I don't think we have the personnel who will be able to execute it effectively. And they've not played together long enough because that system, you need to rehearse it several times to get accustomed to, because it involves a lot of running for the fullbacks, and the fullbacks have to be really attack minded and really know how to fall back when it's necessary. Like, it involves a lot of energy that our fullbacks have shown me they don't have. Gideon Mensah got tired very quickly in that game as he was run ragged. He failed to track back at times. Dennis Odoy as well at a point in time got that they cannot play the 3-back system. They will involve a lot of overlapping runs, which I don't think they have the energy to execute. So Ali Duseidu for me at right back. I'll still go for Salisu. Yes, he was not the best of players in the game versus Cape Verde, but I'll still stick with Salisu and Jiku in the middle. Our man of the match, obviously, will be there. At left back, Gideon Mensah was not impressive. Will I start Fatah Hamidou versus Egypt in his first starts? Well, I don't think it's worth the risk. As Ransford back on his buffer showed us in the first game, he did not take it well. I think Gideon will still maintain his position. Gideon will probably still maintain his position for us.
In the midfield?
In the midfield, it depends on if Kudus Mohammed is fit. But I'm assuming he will be ready. I'll put him in there. I'll put Salis Abdul Samed beside him. Kudus Mohammed, Salis Abdul Samed, Ernest Nuama, or some will say Joseph Penso, but I'll go with Ernest Nuama. And on the right, Joseph Penso will be there.
Okay.
Yes, Jordan is an integral part of the team, so probably I'll put him in the 10 row behind the striker.
Okay.
He'll be more effective at right wing for his club side, Crystal Palace. But the 10 row probably will serve him a bit better here. And up front, Antoine Semenyo. These are the guys I'll go for. It's a little bit different from what I selected, but I was contingent on Kudus Mohammed being fit. So if he is fit, this is the lineup I'll go for. At TCK, then it's Gideon Mensah at left back, Salisu Chiku at right back, Ali Busaidi, Kudus, Salis Abdul Samed, Joseph Pinto, and Esquama, Jordan Ayew, and Antoine Semenyo. Those are the guys I'll go for to start this event. And they need to be free to express themselves.
Attacking football, offensive football.
I don't like the defensive football. It's not the best, but that's what most coaches like. Pursuing is a fan of it. I'm never going to be a fan of it. I know when it is necessary, but it is not necessary here when we are in need of 3 points. One shot on target versus Cape Verde is not good enough. And Cape Verde, on their debut African Cup of Nations in 2013, Ghana was the team that knocked them out. The coach mentioned it in the post-match press.
Yeah.
He said Ghana knocked them out in their very first AFCON, and beating them was really exciting for him because of what happened in their debut championship. So, debut African Cup of Nations. So, we have to win it tonight. We have nothing to lose. Chris has to let the players express themselves.
All right, thank you for speaking with us.
My pleasure.
I have Awa Mohammed, yes, here with me on the SIKANI TV. He's a sports journalist on Kesman TV, Kesman FM. Awa, today Ghana versus Egypt, a tough game. What is your general impression about the game? What are you expecting?
Well, I think it's a hard nut to crack, a very tough game that we're expecting tonight at the start of February when the Pharaohs of Egypt come face to face with the Black Stars of Ghana. You know, a lot of people criticize Coach Kwesi in regard to his tactics, his selections, and how he made his substitutions in that 2-1 loss we had against Cape Verde. But we're expecting a different approach tonight as we head into that game against the Pharaohs of Egypt. Mind you, they'll be coming with Mohamed Salah, one of the best players on the continent or in the world as well, at large. And you can talk about the fact that they have the likes of Mohamed Mustafa, who is with Nantes. He scored the first goal in that game against Mozambique. And very experienced Mohamed El Neni of Arsenal is also going to be in the midfield. So these are the experienced players that you can have within the Egyptian setup. But mind you, they have one of the top-notch goalkeepers when it comes to the continent. I mean, Mohamed El Shanawi, the goalkeeper of Nadia Al Ahly, who also happens to be the captain of the Nadia Al Ahly team. So it's a very, very, very tough game. I don't know the approach that Kwesi is going to use going to this game. His switches in terms of play, the tactics. There was a big problem in that game against the Cape Verdeans. There was a huge gap, especially between the midfield and an attack. And besides that, we don't have someone who is going to come backline, get the ball, and make a turnover by transiting the ball from defense to the attack. These were the problems that we faced. And especially in the first game, we were lacking much up pressing up front. Apart from Semenyo, Rashford, Yeboah Koenigsdorfer was not pressing. That was the main problem we had in the first game. Quite apart from that, Baba Idrisu also made some opportunities, and he gave the Cape Verdeans a lot of chances, of which is not expected to do so if given the opportunity tonight as we faced the Pharaohs of Egypt. It probably promised to be a very, very, very tough game, very tough encounter. But we're watching to see. But I think a lot of Ghanaians are being hopeful today. Yeah. Especially, you know, there is this history that when it comes to the AFCON, our second game, we hardly lose. In the entire 23 AFCON appearances that we've had, we've lost on 2 occasions only when it comes to match day 2. And that is 1984 in Ivory Coast when we lost against Algeria by 2-0, and also in Burkina Faso 1998 when we lost by 2-1 against Togo. And in all those situations, we consider 2. And all these results happen in West Africa. Today is another game against Egypt, and it's in West Africa. But I hoped the Black Stars will try as much as possible this time around and make a very meaningful impact that will come out of this game. And I'm really hopeful that we can get a better result tonight.
Okay, so if you are actually asked to outline your starting 11 for the Black Stars team versus Egypt, how will your starting 11 be?
Well, it depends on how you are going to deal with the attacking options of the Egyptians. Mohamed Salah will probably be on the right because that's where he likes to operate. Hassan Trezeguet will also operate from the left. And these are the problems that we are going to face with those our guys at the sideline when it comes to those at the back line. If we are going to use Gideon Mensah, what it means is that he should not join the attack much because Mohamed Salah will be operating on that line. And if you are going to win Dennis Odoi, Hassan Trezeguet will also be operating on that line. So we are very faced with a tense condition. The very big problem that we are going to face with, how would you deal with Mohamed Salah? Ali Dusedu could have preferably played at the right back. But for me, I wouldn't want to go with a 4-back line in this game. I would have preferred a 3-back line of Salisu Mohammed, Daniel Amati, and Alexander Djiku. So I go with Gideon Mensah just to supplement the effort of Mohamed Salisu, who will be playing as the left centre back, and then be using Ali Dusedu. So what it means is that if you are going to go, we close Ali Dusedu and make Gideon Mensah be running on the sideline. So what it means is that when we are moving forward, we are having 4 guys at the back line: Ali Dusedu, Alexander Djiku, Daniel Amati, and then Ali Dusedu, and then Mohamed Salisu. So in this case, this offers the security opportunity for Gideon Mensah to move up from, because there's going to be a left centre back in the shape of Mohamed Salisu who will complement his effort. But I wouldn't know whether he was going to go with double pivot or a single pivot. But I would prefer 2 good passes of the ball. Apart from Majid Ashmeru, who is the other good passer that you can talk of, it's only Richmond Lamptey. So these are the problems that we are going to face. But I want to see Inaki William and Antoine Semenyo leading the attack. So we should be having 2 guys up front so that we'll be putting the plugs and making all those good pressing. I don't expect to see Jordan Ayew starting in this game. Either Enes Nyama or Osman Bukari, one of them must start alongside Mohamed Kudus. So we need to put all our offensive guys, most of them, Kudus, Osman Bukari, either Enes Nyama or Joseph Pese. We need to have these guys up front so that we also be putting the plugs and also the pressing up front so that we can pressure those guys, Ahmed Egazi, Mohamed Abdel Munim, and all the other Egyptians at the back line.
So let's get your starting 11 clear. Goalkeeper.
I would prefer Atiziki. I would prefer Lawrence.
So you go with the 3-back.
Yes.
They are
Salisu, Mohammed, Daniel Amati, and Alexander Djiku.
Okay.
So I'll go with my fullbacks. Okay. Ali Dusedu, Gideon Mensah.
Okay. Then
I'll have a single pivot. Abdul Samed Salisu.
Okay.
Abdul Samed Salis.
Okay.
And then Mohamed Kudus, and then Majid Ashmeru. So that will be a narrow midfield.
Okay.
With Inaki William and then Antoine Semenyo leading the attack.
Okay. All right. Thank you for speaking with us. We appreciate you on this committee.
Thank you.
I'm from here. He works with TV3, sports journalist, top one of course. Tonight is going to be Ghana-Egypt, a tough game for Ghana. What are your expectations?
We're hoping for a miracle. I don't think objectively you can look at this Ghana team and have confidence that we can beat Egypt. We've beaten Egypt before though, on a few occasions, although it's been very tiny. If you're looking at the total times that we faced Egypt, we've probably beaten them less than quarter times. We've met them more than 20 times and we have just about 5 victories. The most memorable one was the 6-1 in 2013. But if we are to replicate anything similar to that victory, I think tonight will require a miracle because Ghana has just not been good enough. Not just this tournament, but in the past year. I don't remember us having a good game bar the friendly against Liberia. And so it's not really looking good for the Black Stars, to be honest.
So going into this game, Coach Chris tweeting yesterday, he said it is an important game. And Jordan, you could see from everything that he was saying that the players are really determined. We've questioned the players. I would say their patriotism and sometimes the way they actually approach games. Yesterday, watching the final training session, did you see something different from the players' faces and everything?
Well, I've not seen a player smile since we lost against Cape Verde. None of the training session pictures have shown them smiling. I wanted to be at the ground yesterday to see whether maybe it's just a coincidence that whenever they're taking a picture, no one smiles. But no one was smiling, and everyone looked pretty serious. And that's because of maybe what's at stake. Because it can't be pardonable that a team like Ghana gets knocked out of the group stages once. But if it happens again, especially back to back, is a big indicator, and that sample size is big enough for you to make the reference or inference that we're no longer a big team. And so I feel it's a very crucial time for a lot of these players, especially for the younger players who dominate the team, and also the older ones. For the younger ones, I think it's important that they uphold the status of Ghana football, especially because they have a whole career ahead of them. You don't want to come into the Black Stars at a time where everything is bad, and throughout your career you're almost like second best at everything. You don't enjoy being at the AFCON for long, you don't qualify for World Cups. That's not the type of team you want to play for. And for the older generation, you want to make sure you're leaving on a high. You don't want to leave a team at a point where now going out of your group in an AFCON is a big challenge, especially when 4 of the best top 3 teams would be qualifying. That's the third place teams. 4 of the best would be qualifying from the 6th group. So it's a crucial period for the older guys and for the younger ones as well. And so perhaps that's why we've not seen a lot of smiles. Okay. I think there would be a lot of focus because of how important this game is, and their careers on the line, to be honest. If they do anything similar to the game against Cape Verde, after this tournament, some players may not return to the national team again. It might be that drastic. And so there's really a lot at stake tonight.
So how do you want Coach Chris Hughton to approach tonight's game against Egypt? Or probably the players that you are expecting them to start and players that you are also not expecting them to start?
Well, I think the lineup is always secondary. Whoever starts is secondary, because I assume that any player who's been called in the final squad is good enough to play. And so I don't really think the problem from that first game was personnel. I think that lineup was good enough to beat Cape Verde. The problem lies within the team structure and our approach to the games. I struggle to understand why Cape Verde started the game better than us. I struggle to understand why Cape Verde were looking to keep the ball and be calm in the opening minutes. I struggle to understand why the press from the Black Stars was not coordinated in the game. I struggle to understand why 3 passes is all Cape Verde needed to be in our penalty area. These are the crucial questions that need to be answered, because look, if you bring Andre in today, you bring Hamidou, you bring Richmond Lamte, any of these guys you bring in won't matter if these questions are not addressed. Because at the end of the day, in tournament football, if you're not going to win a game, the best you can get is a draw. And you are short of a draw if you defend well and you don't concede. And so that is what I think has to change first. We need to defend well as a unit, together, compact. There's too much space in the middle because of how disjointed the press is. Because if you're looking at, for instance, the Cape Verde game where they started with 2 of their centre backs splitting and the goalkeeper, once their centre backs make the pitch that wide, the mistake we were making was that Semenyo was pressing one and Ransford was pressing the other. In any of the best pressing systems, Pep Guardiola, Liverpool, under Jurgen Klopp, and even to some extent Hansi Flick, what you can use your striker for is to shadow mark. Okay. So in essence, he can press from the available centre back to prevent the other one from passing to him, and then cover that area and try and press the one with the ball. In that situation, he's taking care of two players. But the mistake that we're making was that Semenyo is going straight, and then Ransford is going straight to the other guy. So you've already lost two players in the press. And what happens then is that Ashimeru has to step into the void left by Ransford in the middle of the park. Once he does that, Baba Idrisu is alone. And their striker just had to drop deep to add to the midfielder. And now he's outnumbered. What happens next? Salisu Ojiku has to step up. And in the goal that they scored first, Salisu was the one who stepped up in that instance to the center of the park. The Cape Verde player just played a one-touch pass, and that was it. Our whole team was opened up because everyone had shifted to the left side, and by the time the cross was in, you had Jiku playing as a left centre back, someone is a right centre back, and Dennis Odoi playing as a right centre back, and the whole defense was just disjointed, and they ended up scoring. And so I feel there are issues that we have to address: the pressing structure, how compact we are, and how well we defend. Once we address that, I think personnel-wise, maybe the only player who was overwhelmed by the situation and didn't have a lot of good moments would be Ransford Konigstall for Yeboah. Maybe he may need to come in from the bench because he has not had a lot of experience in the team, and so to throw him in an AFCON game would be too much of a big ask. But apart from him, I think everyone on the pitch is capable of doing better. Okay. And everyone on the pitch just shows signs of good quality, but just that it wasn't enough because the system wasn't working well. And that's what we need to address against Egypt.
Okay, thank you for speaking with us. Finally, your prediction for the game.
Should I answer as a journalist or as a Ghanaian?
Put them together and answer.
From a journalistic point of view, the systematic problems that I listed, I don't think Ghana can solve that in 3 days because it's been happening game after game. Look at the game against Mexico. Look at the game against USA. Look at the game against Comoros. To some extent, the game against Namibia. Even the game that we won against, Central African Republic at home, yeah. Similar. They were playing through us. And all of the opponents I've listed always play through us. These are games in the past 4-5 months. So the signs have been clear. And if we've not even tried to solve it in those 5 months, I don't think we're going to solve it in 3 days. So, objectively speaking, I think Ghana probably loses this 2-1. But the Ghanaian in me believes that if Mohamed Kudus comes back, just like how Ismail Assar came back to the Senegalese team 2 years ago, and all of a sudden a team that couldn't score goals in the group stages started to look sharp in attack. That could be the impact Kudus has on the team if he plays tonight. If he plays tonight, I do think maybe Ghana can get a draw or try and win the game. But if he doesn't play, I think it doesn't end well for Ghana.
Alright, thanks for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Alright guys, we are here with Delali Frank Aote, Del Soccer on YouTube. Yes, Delali, Ghana Egypt. How do you see this game?
How do I see it? It's going to be difficult. It's going to be more difficult than Ghanaians think because of who. One is Ghana. The Egyptians need the results as much as Ghana needs it because they do. And in football, in tournaments where you need points, drawing and losing is pretty much a bit simple. Sometimes when you lose the game, it's a bit better because it gives you a feeling that you need to start winning. But when you draw, there's a bit of contentment and there's a slight chance that you are more comfortable with the results you have. And for me, that is what I think the Egyptians will come into this game knowing that they have to go all out and play. Because Ghana's group is very open. When I say open, every team in that group can qualify. If Cape Verde wins their next game, Cape Verde knows that when they beat Mozambique, straight away they've qualified. Mozambique knows that if they get a decent result, even a draw against Cape Verde would boost their chances of qualifying out of the group. Egypt knows that the best they can do is to get a 3 point against Ghana and put them ahead in that group. So, no matter what you look at it, it's going to be a more difficult game than what we think.
Okay, so how do you want Coach Chris Hughton to approach this game?
Chris Hughton, how I want him to play is obvious that he has never played how you want him to play. I think the only time he played like how we want him to play, he decided to play Kudus. He played a good system that we want, but played a player that we were surprised at. So ever since Chris Whitton became the head coach of this team, he has always played players or systems that is different from what we want. So for me, I've desisted from predicting my starting 11, but I would just say how I would want to see the team play.
So how do you want to see the team play?
We should play with a bit of agency. We should play with a bit of confidence. We should progress the ball better. We should be quick with the ball. And this is something that even the players themselves, after losing the game, said it. That they were very slow, sluggish, lackadaisical. When they were moving the ball, they were not faster enough. And even Claude Leroy, who is the former head coach of the Black Stars, said it. That in our first half, we were too slow in progressing the ball. And I think we should take the ball to the Egyptians. Take the game to them. Approach them with all the confidence we have. If it comes to player by player, come on. We have enough quality to match these Egyptians and play them.
Okay, thank you for speaking with us. All right, guys. I have with me. Yeah. So today, Ghana versus Egypt is going to be a tough game. How do you want Ghana to approach it? Let us know.
See, I feel like we should play according to our strengths. One thing I have realized about this Ghana team is they can't string passes together. It's something we've seen from the qualifiers. I mean, the last time I saw Ghana being able to string together passes and play beautiful football was against South Korea in the World Cup. Same personnel. You really do not have a lot of changes. It's basically the same personnel. So the best thing we can do is, I think the Egyptians know that the Ghanaians are not the Ghana team that beat them 6-1 at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. They know this is not their Ghana team that went all the way to the quarterfinal of the World Cup. They know that this Ghana team is wounded. So we can use that to our advantage. We come into the game as underdogs. Egypt would like to possess the ball. What we have are pacey wingers. Just find a way, play beautiful counter-attacking football. There was this research I did about the Burkina Faso team, and the reason why Burkina Faso is a very dangerous team at the World Cup, at the AFCON. If you watch Burkina Faso's games, they were in the semi-finals of the last AFCON. Of the last two AFCON, they've been in the semi-finals in both. Mostly during the knockout stages, when they play the likes of Nigeria, they play the likes of Tunisia, they are expected to be the underdogs. So one thing they work on is on their counter-attacking. Be defensively solid, and we didn't see that defense solidity from Salisu recently. But I think it's something we can work on, and we've seen in 2015. I don't think anybody expected the Ghana team to do well, especially when we were all not in support of them after John Boy kissing money and all of that. So 2015, we didn't like the team already. They started off poorly to a 3-1 defeat by Senegal. That Senegal was not the Senegal of today. But then we were able to rally ourselves and then win against Algeria. Went on to beat South Africa and then achieved his things in the tournament. So there's that expectation that we have done it before. I mean, the team is not they do not inspire confidence. They do not inspire confidence. But one thing we know is that we are still Ghana. And one thing I see is that go through every other team in the tournament, especially our group.
Okay.
How many of them have quality players like we do?
Okay.
Egypt has Salah and a bunch of other players in Al-Ahly or Nantes or playing in the Gulf. Mozambique have just Ronaldo, who plays for Atletico Madrid, and a bunch of people we don't know. The Cape Verdeans have players being sent LinkedIn invitations. You have Inaki Williams. You have Jordan, who is a regular, and these players are regulars at their team. Inaki is a regular at Athletic Bilbao. Jordan is a regular at Crystal Palace. Salisu, even from injury, commands a starting place in Monaco. Djiku is a starter in Fenerbahce. You get it, like, you can mention quality all over. Salas is a starter in Lens. I mean, the Ivorians are dependent on Seko Fofana. Seko Fofana used to play with Salas, and now Seko Fofana is playing in the Gulf. But Salas is still commanding a starting place in RC Lens. So we have the quality. The question is, how are we going to utilize that quality? And you would hope, as a Ghanaian, that the technical team have learned from their errors.
Okay. So for you personally, which players are you expecting them to start?
I mean,
you're expecting Coach Chris Whitton to start today.
First person I'll mention is Kudus, if he's fit, because Kudus Day. Kudus is like our guy. So Kudus is the first person I expect to start. But if he's not fit, I'm expecting to see Salis, and this is not a dig at Baba Idrisu. He's just not. I don't remember Baba Idrisu having a wonderful game for the Black Stars. I don't remember that. Even against Nigeria, he had lapses of concentration when we played at Baba Yara. And you could see that same lapses of concentration against Quebec. I don't expect to see Baba Idrisu starting. I expect to see Salis starting ahead of Baba Idrisu. I mean, Semenyo had a beautiful outing. I expect to see Semenyo. I expect to see an Osman Bukari starting this game because we need to rely on his pace. We've seen that pace at Red Star Belgrade. I expect to see him. I expect the back line to be the same. I mean, Dennis Odoyo or Alidu Seidu, I'm fine with either one of them. And we all know that Richard Ofori is still going to start based on the questions Fiavi asked Chris Hutton at the press conference. He's going to start Richard Ofori. So we are hopeful, but I like it when my team is going in as the underdogs, and I like the fact that Ghana is going into this tournament as the underdogs.
So, goalkeeper. Which goalkeeper are you expecting him to be in post?
I would have preferred Atizigi, but we all know Richard Ofori will start.
Okay. Then the back four will be intact.
No, I would have preferred Alidu Seidu, but I'm not going to be angry if Dennis Odoye is starting. Because Alidu Seidu is naturally not a fullback. He's supposed to be a centre back.
Then left back Gideon Bensa. Then the two centre back pair.
Jiku, Salisu.
Then the midfield you are expecting Salis.
Ashimeru Salis. Then if Kudus complements it, then
right winger.
See, now this is the problem. I don't want to see Jordan on the wings. I would prefer Jordan playing the 9.
The number 9 role.
Playing the number 9, play Semenyo, play Naki, or Semenyo Bukari.
Okay, then that would be.
Just use pace because you don't get the pace from Jordan.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.